Hey everyone, Brian here. September 27th, Sunday evening. Hope everyone's had a good weekend and looking forward here to another trading week. It's kind of a light calendar this week. We do have a few interesting earnings reports coming up. Maybe Micron MU is going to put out some interesting numbers. We're getting to the end of the month here, end of the third quarter, and we can expect maybe some results on deliveries, EV vehicles, Tesla, maybe NIO might even sneak some in there. So that could be interesting given that the EV stocks have been on a bit of a tear. And speaking of being on a tear, you can see here we had a pretty strong day. We went out the week strong on Friday. All the indexes pretty much looking the same. They just ripped higher, but we did have a volatile week, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I just wanted to take a quick look at some of the other stuff that's going on. I just wanted to point out here this the Fed balance sheet. Brought this up on occasion. It's kind of interesting to keep an eye on what the Fed is doing. So you can see here we topped out sort of mid-June, June 10th here, and you can see we started to pull back on the balance sheet, and now we're creeping back up again, which means the Fed is continuing to be in the market and looking like they're going to try to continue to keep this market supported. And so, you know, the old saying, don't fight the Fed. So given that bit of backdrop, let's take a look at the indexes. Let's see how we finished out on the week here and try to make some predictions as to what's going to happen next week. Futures are currently they're up right now, but they've been fading a bit. I will be keeping an eye on the US dollar because that's had a nice bounce back here, and it will be interesting to see if this was just a bounce or if we're going to continue with some strength, because that'll affect certainly some things like emerging markets, materials, that kind of stuff. So here on the treasuries, the 10-year yields, trying to keep an eye on that, of course, too. And you can see we're just at this point we're just chopping sideways. Not much going on here. Maybe we're seeing some strengthening in the yield, maybe, but at this point we're just narrowing into a very thin range here, so no direction at this point that I can see. The transports, of course, they've been on a bit of a tear for the last couple of weeks. They're looking like they're topping out here at the very least. We did have we were down on the week, but we did come off significantly off the lows of the week. Let's take a look how we finished on the day. On the Dow, you can see here we're just literally holding some prior level of resistance, which has now become support here and support here. So keeping an eye on the Dow transports to see which way they go. Volume kind of dropping off here. Maybe stochastics hooking up, which might be an indication, and again RSI hooking up might be an indication we're going to get a bounce back here next week. The Dow again down on the week. But we did, again, significant off lows of the day, held those two moving averages. Volume was up. Stochastics and all the RSI is looking like it's heading lower. So see what we look like on the daily. Again, the daily a bit of a relief rally after this sell-off during the week. Again, volume not big on Friday. It's a typical Friday. Maybe we're finding a bit of a bottom here. RSI turning back up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Monday. I think that's going to tell us a lot here. The SPY, again, kind of held a moving average. Volume up a little bit on the week. Again, stochastics weekly rolling over. On the daily, we've got, again, decent volume. Maybe we're putting in a bit of a bottom here. Maybe the RSI is turning up. Again, I think we'll see if we get a follow through on Monday. The Qs on a week. Qs actually finished up on the week, almost 2% up. And again, money rotating back into tech. I'd be looking for tech to continue to to see money flowing into it again as after we've had this pullback. It seems like that's where people want to go with their money. And again, we're maybe going to turn up a bit here. Let's see what we're looking like on the daily. Seem to be put in a bit of a double bottom here. We've had one bottom here, one bottom here. So as long as we can hold this sort of 261 level, 260 level, it's 260.11 here. I think as long as we hold this 260 level, we may end up coming back up here. We did lose these moving averages on the daily, but again, we're turning back up on the RSI. MACD looks like it's turning up, and it looks like the stochastics are starting to turn up again. So again, I'd be looking for tech to lead us away, up and away again. I don't think the Fed's going to want this market to drop going into an election cycle. And IWM, again, down on the week 4%, big down week for the IWM on volume, well off the lows of the week though. Stochastics looking weak, RSI looking weak. IWM did bounce a bit on Friday. I'd be and it was on not a lot of volume. Yeah, IWM looks the least attractive to me in terms of indexes. The VIX, again, just holding this sort of 25 level, this moving average. Again, we were down on the week, even though the markets, oh, that's on the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly quickly here. Hollow fill candle, we were up on the week, actually, with the markets mostly down. And although it's definitely sort of narrowing into a very narrow trading range, we're kind of stuck with some moving averages here. Really seems a little directionless at this point in terms of the weekly. Let's go back to the daily quickly. And again, down with the strong day on Friday. So not much can be said about that, I don't think. I can glean from that other than we're just kind of holding some moving averages in this 25 level. Here is the chart of the dollar. I am, like I said, watching this one pretty closely. We really had a strong sell-off here. We've been kind of basing, looked like it was a false breakdown, looked like we were going to break lower, pop back up, and now we had a bit of a breakout. So kind of an indecision candle on Friday. Stochastic still looks strong, so and the RSI looks strong. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's kind of flat right now. I don't think it's doing much, but you know, it's certainly if it continues higher, it'll be put pressure on the gold and silver trade for sure. Emerging markets, put some pressure on that as well in terms of if you're trading EM, that kind of stuff. So let's look at some stuff I'm watching. I picked up on some scans. A-Bio. I was looking at this one just because there seemed to be some insider buying on it. Also, I like the chart because it seemed to be holding this 4 level. Volume hasn't really come in very much yet. But RSI is kind of turning up here after kind of bottoming out. Stochastics look like they're going to turn up. So I'll be watching A-Bio for maybe a move. Boeing again looking weak, but it had a nice day on Friday. American Airline, I guess on Friday, confirmed they were taking some money from the Treasury. I think they said up to like $5 billion or something. So they were just locking in the ability to draw on some money here in case they need it to make it through this continued slowdown in the air travel, which I guess is still not showing any signs of any significant recovery according to the TSA. So Boeing could be interesting, but probably only if it gets above 160 and maybe starts to hold. I'd be watching, keeping an eye on it though. Ballard Power, again, just right back down here. Hydrogen seems to be picking up some interest again in terms of vehicles. So I think here we've got this holding a 14, so it might be an interesting trade as long as it held 14. Again, just looking at some stocks that seem to be holding some levels here. This Cloudera stock seems to be holding the 200-day moving average again, something to trade off of. Volume's pretty light here. Some of the indicators look like it's turning back up. This 5' Therapeutics kind of looks interesting. It's got everything, all the indicators are strengthening, and I'd be keeping an eye on this to see if we can break out above this 200-day moving average on this stock here. Again, GDX, I talked about the dollar and impact on the gold and the gold miners. So you can see here we've had pretty significant sell-off. I'm kind of at this, I'm sitting on the sidelines right now with gold and silver trades, just waiting to see where we're going to bottom out here. And because I still think longer term, we do have some potential for gold and silver to move back up to these prior highs. But on Friday we had a bit of an inside day in terms of trading, but nothing to take action on here. GIGM, again, I was looking at this one, had some insider buying as well. Big sell-off day on Friday. So going to keep an eye on that one, but I'd be looking for it to break and hold above 3. Possible move there. Again, GLD, we talked about this. This is gold, but gold still is in a downtrend. Moving averages across, it's definitely not looking healthy. The only thing you can say here is the volume was light, and maybe RSI is flattening out here. I really like this Sava, this Cassava. We've got some Alzheimer's drug. You can see here on the monthly they're doing really well. Let's see what the daily looks like. I was looking at the monthly in terms of levels. But you can see here it's had a nice gap up, popped up again, just seemed to be holding the 9. Now it made another move again. It's hard to find a good entry on this, but I think in the long run, I think this is a really good stock with the potential for their Alzheimer's drug, which is a pretty big market. So maybe looking for it in a pullback here. Maybe we'll get a pullback. I don't even think it'll come back to 10. But really overbought right now. Been in and out of this one a bit. I wish I'd have just stayed in it. Not sure. Okay, I think I skipped too far ahead here. Silver again, inside day, same comments as gold. Just watching it right now. Semis look like they're if we have an update again tomorrow, it'll be something to watch. The semi stocks are just playing this index. Square looks like it's been putting in a bit of a bottom here, and it's ready to break out. This 159 level looks like an area if we can go higher and close above it. I think we'll end up looking at 170 again pretty soon. Square looking interesting. SRNE. Again, we've been trading this in the day trading room. This is looking like it's holding this sort of 9 level and maybe getting ready to break out. Volume's been dropping off. Stochastic RSI is turning up. Stochastics are turning down a bit, but again, I think it could be a decent play, and it has the ability to run for sure. Tesla again, I think that looks strong. We'll see. The Q3 numbers are going to come out on their deliveries, and that'll drive the stock one way or another. But the Tesla's just this cult stock that sell-offs get bought. You can see it's holding this moving average here. We pulled back, we held that, and people just love to be in that stock. UEPS is a bit of a dog's breakfast in terms of the candles and the wicks on the ups and lows, but Again, I think there was some, I flagged this because there was some insider buying. Always like to look for that in scans. So maybe we have a breakout coming on some news that some insiders know about. The USO, again, I'm keeping an eye on the oil, just really narrowing into a pretty defined range here. So um, if we start getting lockdowns again and the second wave of COVID and this oil is probably going to take a hit because that's you know does drive the economy. And WestRock. I was looking at WestRock just because it was up a lot on Friday. I think it came out on some IP news. They were increasing the price of, I think it was container board. And of course, WestRock's in this business too. There's some rumor, I guess, or speculation that they'll increase their prices as well, and probably early in the week. So there was some call buying, I understand, as well. I saw, so maybe this could pop back up to 39 here. So something to keep an eye on with that one. Okay, so here's our earnings for next week. We've got Micron after the close Tuesday. That's probably the most interesting one. Nova Gold on Wednesday, and then it's got a couple of interesting ones Thursday at the open. We've got PepsiCo, Bed Bath and Beyond, Conagra, obviously agriculture stock. So yeah, a couple interesting ones coming up this week, and I believe on Friday we have the employment report or unemployment report coming up. So bit of a light week in terms of news, but we'll have lots of election headline news to keep us volatile and keep us on our toes regardless, which is keeping me on the sidelines for the most part right now and leading up to the election. I think where there's going to see a lot of volatility. So sometimes the best trade is no trade at all, and write about that in my book, How to Swing Trade, and that's it. So hope everyone enjoys the rest of what's left of their weekend. We'll see you hopefully in the Bear Bull Trading Room, 8:30. Our pre-market show starts live on YouTube with Carlos and Norm usually, and then we'll be trading the market at open at 9:30. We'll look forward to seeing you then. Have a great rest of the weekend, everybody. Bye for now.